What's going on, guys? Hey, I want to come back to you, and I wanted to bring you a few clips for real time with Bill Maher from the other night. And he's got Stephen A. Smith on there, and that, I forgot the guy's name from California, a politician from California on there. And, definitely a Democrat. And, sometimes, man, I really agree with Stephen A. Smith. I really agree with him. Other times, he's full of shit. But I do see a little bit of awareness in Stephen A. where I think he is really starting to get, again, some things on the right. He's starting to understand that, that Trump really is trying to find solutions to what is happening. In his party, the Democrats, the Stephen A's party, maybe, again, part of the problem, or maybe the entire problem. I think people, they voted out wokeness back in the fall. They said, we're done. We are done with this bullshit. And I think Stephen A. is starting to recognize that. I think Bill Maher is starting to recognize that as well. Again, I think a large part of this country is starting to wake up and realize, what? We're being lied to so many different ways. But guys, man, if you would, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Here's the clips.
I have over this whole DEI issue is that everybody thinks about diversity, equity, and inclusion, and it automatically connotates in a lot of people's eyes, particularly on the right, that somebody that's in that position must have gotten there because of a level of incompetence and what have you. It's not merit-based. My attitude is similar to the Rooney Rule with the National Football League, similar with affirmative action. What the hell was the policy necessary for to begin with? Because we had a power structure in the United States of America that was unfair, that was unequitable, inequitable. They didn't give a damn, and somebody had to compel them to do the right thing conscientiously, and nobody is talking about that in regards to DEI.
Well, I think they are. But also things change.
Right.
But you're talking about the past.
But they haven't changed enough. Look at tech. Look at how many African Americans, Latino Americans are in tech, which is producing all the wealth.
But is it because they're barred? I heard the same story. You would understand this better than anybody because you're a sports genius. Baseball. I've heard there's only 7% players in baseball who are African American.
That's right. That's what I'm saying.
Well, this would be a problem if they were barred from baseball, as they were before 1947. There's only 7% because they want to play another sport or no sport at all or do something else. They're not barred. It's not a problem.
It's not a problem, but what they're trying to do on the right, and I've been getting on them about this, is that, again, when you're talking about DEI, anytime you bring that up, oh, you're a DEI hire. You didn't really deserve it. You didn't really earn it. You just got it because of that policy. And I'm like, but you're just going to bring that up but ignore why the policy was there to begin with. That means there was a whole bunch of white people before there was DEI that were getting jobs that they didn't deserve.
I know, but there was, I think, the University of Michigan, one of the schools like that, had something like 200 DEI officers at a college, the most liberal place.
Yeah, that's excessive. No excuse.
There's
okay, and who's ever going to give up that job and go, well, this situation is better now, I guess I better fire me.
Right. I'm just saying if you want to do away, do away with it. Just don't act like, don't forget what brought it about. Right. That's all.
And it's where people look for talent. If you look at these tech companies, they go to Stanford, Harvard, Berkeley. You think they're going to the HBCUs and looking for talent there? If they're not pushed to go outside their networks, they're going to hire the same people from the same schools and replicate the same wealth gap. We've got a 10-to-1 wealth gap in America, and instead of talking about that, we're beating up on DEI.
But we had this in your industry, or the way you represent. Women were they started 2 programs, big programs, like 20 years ago to get more women in engineering positions. And I think in 20 years it went up 1%. I don't think it's because they were barred from doing it. I just think people choose to go into different.
One thing I think about, if there's a DEI policy in place, people are going to wonder, did they get their job? They're black or brown or whatever, or female. Did they get their job because of the policy, or did they get their job because, again, they're good? People are going to wonder that. And I guarantee you, if you work for a company or whatever that has that policy, in place, you aren't. I hate to say this, but you aren't as good as you think you are. You're not. Again, you might. Let's say your name is Tyrese, and you're a black male, and you got their job. You might be better than all the other black folks, but again, that's all you were competing with, black and brown. You may really, in all reality, not even break the top 20 if you had to compete with Bill and Bob and Nathan and Tom and whatever. Wouldn't even have broken the top 20. Get mad. You're racist. No, not at all. Just real, man. Just being real. Again, so people are going to wonder. You can't get mad, man. When you work for a company or whatever that has a policy in place, you got your job, you're black and whatever, and you got the job. You can't, and you fight for those policies. You want those policies in place. You fight for them. But then you get mad when somebody dares to think, I wonder if they got their job because of DI. You get mad. What's going on here? Anyways, and also, man, Bill Maher, he's right. When he said that things have changed, we don't need that. Number one, I'm going to go ahead and say he was right. But also, we never needed those policies to begin with. We didn't. Again, you could never discriminate in the present to make it for past discrimination. You can't. You think you can. You can do whatever you want. Oh, I'm just trying to make things fair. I'm making things fair by discriminating against these honkies over here. You can't do that. You can't. You're continuing the same practice as before, but you're doing it in reverse. All you can do, if you want to make things open and free and free of resentment and free of kickback, of problems starting in the future, all you can do is have things open. No discrimination, no everything built on merit, based on merit. That's it. That's all you can have. And until you have that, you do not in any way, shape, or form have a free and open workforce. You don't. Because again, you're basing your decisions on the color of their skin or on their sex or whatever.
Between the Obama and Harris campaigns was Obama connected with people, and all the celebrities wanted to do concerts because they wanted to be with Obama because he was with the people. In the Harris campaign, they went after the celebrities to do the concerts to get the people. They got it backwards.
I'm just saying.
I don't know about that. Okay, let's be honest here. First of all, one could argue that Obama resonated more because the people chose him to be the Democratic nominee for the presidency of the United States of America, as opposed to somebody backdooring their way into that position. Let's just be honest about it. You had Biden. I know that you supported Biden. Obviously, you spoke about his mental acuity and all of that other stuff, but we all saw what we saw. Before the debate on June 27th, when the debate happened, and by the time that was exposed, it then waited 3 weeks after that before he decided to walk away, but it was too late for anybody else to get in. So Kamala Harris, who didn't resonate during the primaries in 2020, couldn't even get to Iowa, suddenly is the Democratic nominee. And then you roll up at the convention in Chicago, and everybody's like, she's a rock star. So it was like, wait a minute, how that happen? I don't know how that happened. So you're looking at all of those things and you're saying, yes, I voted for her. A lot of people voted for her. But in the end, we end up feeling like damn fools because we supported it. We fell for the okie doke, as they say. She didn't. If you had a primary, the likelihood is that she would not have been the Democratic nominee. And you can't say that about Trump in this side.
Man, all the times that I disagree with Stephen A. Smith, It's quite often I disagree, but this is one of them that I fully agree with them. I fully agree. We got to remember, man, Barack Obama. Again, I see the evil in him in a way, but the Democrats, they stood behind him, and again, he has a certain level of charisma and leadership. And again, man, I don't like politically Obama's any of his policies really, but the man's got a certain way of being, a certain way of talking, and again, I saw that so many years ago, and he got a lot of people to vote for him, including some conservatives to vote for him. A lot of the swing voters to vote. And I get this. So I get the allure. I do. He comes across very polished. Kamala Harris, not so much. She doesn't have the natural leadership that Obama has. Doesn't have it. And what happened, again, is back, 4.5, 5 years ago, she couldn't even make it to Iowa. Again, she was out, and now all of a sudden they want to push her into the front. She's the candidate. She's the one you follow, and they want to make her almost a rock star, like Stephen A. Smith said. How did that happen? Again, you can't make her the candidate, and nobody even voted for her to make her a candidate to begin with. And then when she was a candidate some years back, she couldn't even make it to Iowa. That's what the problem is. So again, Stephen A. Smith, on this one, man, you're 100% correct. You are.
So let's talk about the border one, because ICE is now detaining people. This has a lot of people concerned. The Laken Riley Act, I'm sure you voted on that. I think you voted no. Okay, but it did pass with 46 Democrats in the House voted for it. And in the Senate, it passed 64-35, so I think about 12 Democrats there. This is a law that says that ICE can detain any illegal who is charged, arrested, or convicted of a crime, not merely an accusation, so don't get excited, Karens. Has to be charged, arrested, or convicted. Now, Ruben Gallego, who we've had on the show a number of times, and I think has bigger ambitions, that he's now the senator from Arizona, he voted for it. He said, I'm bringing the perspective of working class Latinos from Arizona. That perspective, I think, has been missing. And he talks about people who are largely out of touch with where your average Latino is. It sounds like he's calling out people like you who voted no.
I like Ruben. There are a lot of Latino. I do. I think he ran a hell of a race. But there are a lot of Latino leaders who also voted no. Here's the basic thing in this country. If you're convicted of a sex offense, of a violent offense, absolutely you should be deported. But if you're just arrested, we are a country in which we have due process, and you should have a trial. I think that's a reasonable position.
What right to due process do they have? I mean, again, have we forgotten? They broke into the country. And yeah, they want the same rights as American citizens? No. None whatsoever. Guys, we have got to remember, this is our country. White, brown, black, doesn't matter. This is our country. Ours. And again, we have to keep it. We can't be a country if we don't have borders. If you don't regulate who comes in and we have no idea. We can't keep our country safe. We can't. Again, I guarantee you, these liberal, dumbasses, they're letting in the Trojan horse. They are. Whether we like it or not, they're letting them in. They're letting in people that we have no idea. I'm sure we do know that they've let in quite a few people on the terrorist watch list. So we understand that. guys, we have got to buckle down and tighten that border up. And again, Trump is doing that now, but that was something that that Biden could have continued doing, Kamala Harris, over the last 4 years. But again, they weren't concerned about the border until it looked upon them negatively during the campaign. But again, these white liberal, especially white liberal women, need to understand that this idea of compassion, we got to be compassionate. Because we got to feel bad for them. We got to feel bad for the illegals. No, we don't. It's not real. That compassion is not real. I mean, again, all you're doing is saying, "Oh, we gotta feel bad for them. We gotta feel bad for them," and we're somehow doing the right thing because again, you're getting an emotional high off of supposedly helping them by letting them in, by paying for this, by paying for that. No, they're not. First of all, they're not welcome here. Second off, you're not helping them at all. Again, if you allow them just to come across the border, you pay for this, pay for that, pay for, what kind of message are you sending? Again, come across the border, we'll take care of you. We'll do this, we'll do that. At some point, that has to end, right? Well, guess what? Tell them that. Tell them they have to do whatever. Yeah. Guys, we have truly got to understand. You're screwing up the country, you white liberal women. For that. It not just the white liberal, but everyone that votes that way. You were screwing this country up. And you're doing under the guise of, look at me. Look at me. I'm holier now. I'm better than you. Yeah. Guys, straighten up. I mean, seriously, straighten up.
Yes, let's deport convicted felons, convicted criminals, but let's not deport our nannies and students or dental hygienists who've been living here for years and have kids in communities. We can have a common sense position on this.
I get that. That makes a lot of sense, but there's a flip side. So, for example, if I remember correctly, based on my research, in Sacramento in 2023, there was a law passed in terms of empowering the governor of California to really force environmentalists and the courts to move quickly, 270 days, if I remember correctly, something along those lines. Why do I bring something like that up with a subject like this? Because here in your state, they can drag their feet and prolong certain things. And as a result of that, things don't get done nearly as fast as they should. When we're talking about immigration and we're talking about immigrants who may be criminals, you're talking about them being arrested. Let's have due process. But if it takes too damn long to address it, that pisses people off. That's one of the problems that exist in this country. You're looking at stuff and you're like, okay, you arrested him. Was he in jail? All right, you let him out. Recidivism is an issue in this country. You let somebody, you arrest them, you're letting them out the same day, stuff like that. You got law enforcement officials that are getting discouraged because they're looking at it and they're saying, wait a minute, why are we out here risking our life and taking care of this stuff when y'all are just letting people out? You got to handle business. And a lot of times we hear about the red tape and all of that stuff, and you're talking about a candidate right now who's not president to be the president of the United States now. He's sitting up there and he's talking about expediting the process at every turn. Let's just get stuff done. Let's just get it done. Now, I don't know if I trust that. I don't blame you for not trusting it. But we have to understand the American people are saying, you know what, enough's enough. We've tried it that way. We've been doing it that way for decades. We sick of y'all. Let's wait. Let's go through the process. Let's arrest somebody. Let's let them out. Let's put them back out on the streets. Oh, let's make sure they have due process. You think somebody wants to hear about due process with somebody that's in this country illegally? They want to hear that. You in the country illegally. Hell with your process. Yeah. You got the audacity to admit a crime after you got here illegally? We ain't trying to hear that. Nobody's trying to hear that. So they're saying, wait a minute, what are you going to do about it? Where is
I agree 100% with Steven. There are so many times, man, that I disagree with that man. But on this, man, I 100% agree. And he's 100% dead on, right? I mean, there's no way around this. Man, people, they don't want to hear about what rights these illegal immigrants have. They're sick of it. That's why they voted for Trump in big numbers. Again, they're done with this shit. They don't want, we don't want to talk about due process for illegals. We don't. And I think the majority of people are that way. And these compassionate, liberal, especially these liberal white women and these girly men that they want to, have due process for illegals and talk about that kind of stuff where they, again, they powder their cheeks or whatever. This is bullshit. Bullshit. You're not good. You're not compassionate. You're not looking out for your country and your countrymen and women. You're not. It's all about you. It's all how you look, how you come across. Again, it's not even the compassion. It's not even real. It's not even real. Again, man, what you're saying is, I gotta tolerate the darkest points of things, the most evil points, like with the transgender shit. We gotta be tolerant and compassionate and whatever. Yeah, nobody is saying be mean to anyone. Again, we have to understand people that believe they're whatever gender, they are ill. And again, we have to take that into consideration. And we have got to understand that, but we don't need to accept it. The same thing with illegal immigration. We don't have to accept it. It's wrong. It's evil. Again, they're breaking into the country. We have a border. We're like, no, you stop. And they're coming in anyways. They're sneaking in. And we're supposed to, feel bad for them. Have compassion. Not at all. Again, actual compassion is holding people to account for what they're doing and protecting this country for our kids. And again, it has nothing to do with race. White, black, brown, red, yellow, it has no matter. If you're a citizen of this country, this is your country. We have got to start recognizing that. And stop letting this fringe, dictate things and bully everyone else into, being impassionate. And again, no matter how nice you are, if they're the ones dictating what compassion means, they can always change things up a little bit. They'll never be good enough. Never. But guys, man, if you would, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Thanks. You son of a.